The largest car-carrying vessel ever built slides into a Mexican port carrying more than 9,200 electric vehicles packed across 16 decks. Painted on the hull in giant letters 2 stories tall is not the name of a traditional shipping line, but that of a car brand. For 100 years, no vehicle manufacturer owned its own ocean-going ships. They built cars and paid specialists to transport them across the sea. However, one company broke that rule so radically that, in just 20 months, it assembled a private fleet of 8 ships capable of moving more than 1 million vehicles a year to ports in Europe, South America, and Australia without asking traditional shipping lines for a single slot. That company is BYD, and while most of the world was paying attention to battery chemistry, range anxiety, and charging speeds, it quietly became the only automaker on Earth with its own deep-sea fleet. What triggered this move was a price shock so extreme it sounds invented. In 2021, chartering a car-carrying ship cost about $12,500 a day. By early 2024, that same vessel was priced at $115,000 a day. China was producing millions more cars than the global fleet could transport, and the few shipping companies that owned the boats knew exactly what power they held in their hands. The invisible industry that moves the world. There is a lesson in commercial history that resurfaces every generation to punish whoever forgot it. The greatest trading powers were never the ones that made the finest goods, but the ones that controlled how those goods moved. Venice dominated the Mediterranean through its fleet, not its looms. The Dutch East India Company ran the spice trade by controlling sea lanes, not by growing crops. Britain built an empire on the Royal Navy and its merchant marine, not on its factories alone. Whoever controls transport sets the price of everything that moves. For a century, the global auto industry forgot this lesson entirely. Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, Hyundai, every major car maker produced vehicles and handed them over to specialized shipping companies to carry them across oceans. Those shippers operated in one of the most quietly and extremely profitable niches in global trade. Names like Wallenius Wilhelmsen, NYK, and He built fortunes in total obscurity. Between 80 and 90% of everything you own arrived by sea, but logistics only becomes news when it breaks. A vessel runs aground in the Suez Canal, or a drought empties the Panama Canal. When the crisis passes, logistics vanishes from the public mind once again. Within that invisible world, moving finished vehicles is even more complex. You cannot ship a car efficiently in a standard container. Chinese exporters tried for years, but cars had to be strapped down, wrapped in foam, and you ended up paying to ship empty air. That is why the industry relies on ro-ro vessels, short for roll-on/roll-off, which are essentially floating multi-story parking garages with internal ramps. Cars drive aboard under their own power, one by one, driven by teams of dock workers in non-stop precision relays. The arrangement between car makers and shipping lines worked for decades, until the global car carrier fleet quietly began shrinking while China accelerated its production at a pace that would break the system wide open. The squeeze that changed everything. To understand why BYD felt forced to build its own ships, you need to understand one uncomfortable truth. Nobody had invested in car-carrying vessels in years, and the ships still in service were aging fast. The reason traces back to the 2008 financial crisis, when car sales collapsed worldwide and shipping lines were left holding expensive vessels with no cargo to carry. Ship owners absorbed a brutal lesson: never build a car carrier on speculation. For more than a decade, new ship orders were practically non-existent, and aging vessels were sent straight to the scrapyard. Then, two massive forces collided at exactly the same time. First, the end of global lockdowns triggered a massive car buying spree. Second, China's auto exports exploded at a terrifying speed, going from 700,000 units in 2019 to nearly 5 million in 2023, the year China overtook Japan to become the largest vehicle exporter on the planet. By 2024, that number soared past 5.8 million units. With a shipping fleet that had been shrinking for 15 years and a Chinese export curve shooting straight up, the result was pure, unforgiving arithmetic. Demand exploded, supply frozen, and charter rates multiplied ninefold in just 3 years. Renting a single ship for a month shot up to $4.5 million. The cost of moving a single vehicle from a factory floor in Shenzhen to a dealership in Europe went from a minor line item to a massive chunk of the sticker price. But the money was not even the worst part. The real problem was absolute control. If a competitor locked up a vessel under a 3-year contract, that capacity was completely gone. You could have your factory running at 100% and your order books full, but your cars just sat parked in the rain, rusting at the harbor without a single boat to carry them. That was the moment BYD realized it was not competing against Volkswagen or Tesla for customers, but against everyone for space on ships. The decision nobody saw coming. In 2022, BYD made an announcement that many industry watchers considered reckless. It planned to spend nearly $700 million building its own fleet of car carriers. The industry's reaction ranged from skepticism to outright amusement. Car makers build cars, they don't operate shipping lines. However, on January 9, 2024, the first vessel arrived at Yantai port to begin loading. She was 200 meters long, 38 meters wide, with 13 decks and a top speed of 19 knots. Painted across her hull in giant letters was the name BYD Explorer No. 1. She set sail carrying over 5,000 electric vehicles bound for the Netherlands and Germany. That first voyage was just the beginning of an industrial blitz. By late 2024, the second ship launched. By early 2025, the third. And in April 2025, the BYD Shenzhen made her debut. A colossus with a capacity for 9,200 vehicles across 16 decks, becoming the largest car-carrying ship ever built in human history. By late 2025, the fleet numbered 8 massive ships, giving BYD the ability to export over 1 million vehicles a year on vessels under its direct control. How did they pull it off so fast? Because Chinese shipyards produce more than 56% of all new shipping tonnage on Earth. A European or American automaker trying the same move would have to wait in line until the 2030s for a shipyard slot, whereas BYD was negotiating directly with state-of-the-art yards right down the coast. Furthermore, owning its fleet cuts per vehicle shipping costs by 30 to 40%, saving over $1 billion annually while guaranteeing its cars reach overseas markets before local regulations shift or new import tariffs are slapped on at receiving ports. The half of the voyage nobody talks about. However, every voyage a car carrier makes has 2 parts, and only one of them earns money. BYD loads its ships in China and sends them packed to capacity toward Europe, Brazil, Mexico, or Australia. But upon arrival and unloading thousands of vehicles, the ship has to come back, and neither Europe nor Latin America sends thousands of cars back to Asia. This means these floating steel skyscrapers must make the return ocean crossing practically empty. An unloaded vessel of this size burns almost the same amount of fuel as a full one, pays the exact same crew, the same port fees, and the same massive costs to cross the Suez or Panama canals. Every single nautical mile of that return journey is a constant financial drain subtracted directly from the profits earned on the outbound leg. This is the main reason traditional shipping lines survive by combining customers and complex trade routes, moving cars in one direction, heavy tractors or buses to another region, and used vehicles to emerging markets, ensuring their decks never sail empty. To offset this massive operational expense, BYD made a masterstroke move. It began offering available deck space on its ships to other Chinese car makers desperately competing to export. By turning its fleet into an independent logistics subsidiary, BYD not only slashed its own losses on return trips, but started charging freight fees to its direct competitors. Suddenly, the company selling cars moved into controlling the very route its rivals rely on to sell theirs. And that is how a company that started out manufacturing cell phone batteries became an automaker and ended up building its own deep-sea shipping fleet to dominate the global supply chain from end to end. In an international trade environment dominated by geopolitical tensions, shifting tariffs, and unexpected bottlenecks, controlling the product from raw materials all the way to the ship's deck is not just a logistical advantage. It is an argument of steel proving how you compete and win in the 21st century. If you are passionate about seeing how extreme engineering, heavy logistics, and trade wars redefine the map of the planet, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Before you go, leave me your comment below. Do you consider building an in-house shipping fleet to be the most brilliant industrial strategy of the decade, or a massive risk if global sales slow down? I read all of your comments carefully. See you in the next video.